In the last episode of Paperhats, we built one of my biggest builds yet, and I got all my stuff back after I lost everything. I'm Dr. Jankovic, welcome into the wonderful world of Everbloom, and we have some exciting adventures today. But before we jump into that, let me show you what we did in the last episode. We built this absolutely massive tower here, and we built a little bit of a path around it. It's got no staircase down, and there's a lot more base to build, but we've got a really good start on this area. If you haven't watched episode 7 already, I definitely recommend it. But in this episode, we are actually going to the end because we have a wither rose farm to make and a shulker shell farm to make. I've never built either one of these farms, but I do know one thing: we are going to need 3 wither skeleton skulls, which I happen to have right here. I'm not smart enough to make my own wither rose farm, but I do have a schematic, so there's probably some resources I need to gather. But I say let's go to the end, pick out a good spot, and then we'll go from there. We're here on the main end island, and the best thing that can happen is we go through one of these portals, and there is a second portal just a few blocks away from them. So I think I'm going to try all these and see which one's the best option. You would not believe this, but this is the first portal that I've tried. And look across the way over there. There is a portal ready for a wither rose farm. What's also really cool about this location is there is an end city right here. Now, I'm hoping whoever raided that end city left a shulker or two, because if so, we can actually make our shulker farm right here next to the wither rose farm. We can have a little end industrial area right about here. But I've got my location, I've got my plans together. I say it's time for a time lapse. Let's get this wither rose farm made. I wanted to bring you guys back for a quick update. First of all, I completely forgot to get a replay mod time lapse, and that's because I decided to do this over a stream on twitch.tv/Dr. Jankovic. Now lately I've been really trying to improve the things that I do on stream, so I was so preoccupied with that I forgot to hit start record. Sorry about that. However, we have major movement on the wither rose farm. It has not gone well. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that. It could have definitely gone better, but it also could have gone a lot worse. Now, I have died once in this process, but I haven't lost anything, and that's very lucky. However, this has not gone well because of a me problem. To give a bit of an explanation, I tend to get a little bit impatient with tutorial videos, in the sense that I tend to skip around videos just to make sure that there isn't a certain order that you need to place the blocks. Now, for this farm in particular, there really is no certain way that you need to place the blocks. However, what I didn't realize is you really need to secure your area before you build this farm, and that's probably something they covered in the tutorial. I'll be honest, I still haven't gone back to watch the tutorial. However, my problem is I completed this farm, and very quickly I realized my mistake. First of all, the wither locked on to me because I was standing around, and started breaking a few blocks around the farm, and then those few blocks that broke allowed more of a viewing area for the wither and was targeting just a whole bunch of endermen, and pretty soon I've lost an enchanting table, and pretty much the whole farm is gone. I have to rebuild it now. When this happened, my mind immediately went to what everybody does when they make these farms, and that was to cover the island entirely in water. So you can see that I started to do this on stream. However, I kind of had an epiphany because we are very close to a portal that you go through at the main end island. So therefore, Paperhats are going to be using that portal, and somebody may come over here not knowing this is here and may want to see the wither. You can see where that's going. The wither may target them and start to destroy the farm again, and I really don't want that to happen. So then my next idea was to put a big glass box around it. And honestly, it makes a lot of sense. It's going to be a lot of glass placing. However, if I have a floor of water inside this glass box, and then I make sure the chicken goes in there, grows up just fine, and then I spawn the wither, the very last thing. And before the wither finishes powering up, I can run out, seal up the glass box, and theoretically, the enderman should only spawn up top while we're up on our AFK platform. And if somebody comes and wants to look at the wither, they should be able to go at the glass. They're not making eye contact. and the wither should stay focused on the chicken. In order to do this, we're going to have to go back to Tax Villager Hall, get a whole bunch more glass. I think that's a little bit faster than smelting sand at this point. And then I'm going to have to get a few more supplies that I lost in all of the explosions when I completely messed up the first time. I didn't have quite enough glass to go all the way to the top, but I had a decent bit of stone, and I think that might look pretty good just having a stone top. Although I do need to place more, and I had an idea maybe when I put in the wither, I can leave that little slit up there for me to fly out of quickly. Another thing I failed to mention is once I put the wither in there, some of that's going to get destroyed, so that's going to be really fun for me to rebuild it and hopefully not destroy everything. But I still think this is a great plan. Once we get it all sealed up and built and everything, it should work like a charm. All we need now is a couple more wither skeleton skulls and some soul sand. It took a little bit, but now we have 3 wither skeleton skulls, some soul sand, and we brought some extra blocks. Let's get this farm done. Technically, we have a working wither rose farm. However, one small problem, my glass idea did not quite work as I had hoped, and the wither just blew up the chicken enclosure again. So I'm not sure how that was supposed to work, but immediately he blew it up. So maybe that's not necessary, or it's just not going to work in this new update. This farm was built in 1.16, I believe. But when I'm up on my AFK platform, you can see a ton of Endermen are falling down, and they're being turned into wither roses. So the farm is working. Worst case scenario, we can just run this for a while, get enough wither roses to last us for the rest of the season. Honestly, I don't see myself using 4 double chests, so I may just AFK here for a while, dispatch the wither, and maybe just leave this. I'm thinking that might be the best idea, because we can always come back and cover the island with water, or I can just go, hurry up, grab the wither roses, and then come back at a later time, cover the entire island with water, because I do have a lot of glass to distract the wither, so it'll be tremendously more safe and maybe easier to actually make this into a working farm. And let's not forget, the whole point of this is to get wither roses for a shulker farm. And I really only needed like half a stack or something like that. I just thought I'd be fancy and make a wither rose farm. So let me AFK here for a while. We'll get all the wither roses we need for the shulker farm. And then we'll get started on the shulker farm. So I've been AFK for a little over 6 hours. I did eventually make up my mind. I was just going to kill the wither and respawn him if we ever wanted to make another wither rose farm, because I'm sure we got a ton. However, there's been a bit of a development. Yeah, he got out. That's not good at all. I'm not sure how he got out of bedrock, but we're gonna have to deal with this. So it's actually the morning for me, and I woke up not too long ago. That was a good way to wake up, having to kill the wither. And also, having wings makes it much, much easier. I could not have fought that wither without wings. And I think I figured out what happened. So at some point, looks like he got targeted on something which broke this cobblestone wall down here, and he was able to float down and get out. So I think I'm over the wither rose farm. We're going to leave it like this for now. because we do have quite a few wither roses. I'm going to get all these out and see how many I have. Looks like we got an entire shulker and a few odd stacks in our inventory. I was honestly hoping to be able to use this farm for black dye throughout the season. However, this is just not viable. I think we're just going to make a squid farm or go squid hunting. And this is way, way more than I need for a shulker farm anyway, so maybe somebody else will have use for these. So now all I need to do is actually do my research on a shulker farm. I already have the schematic, but I think I'm going to watch the video pretty closely just in case there's a few edge cases like this one. And let's see if we can't find a good spot close to that city. First, we'll make sure there is a shulker there. I know one thing for certain, if you are wearing headphones right now, you can hear the sound of diamonds. I have to say this farm is absolutely insane. It is such a fast shulker farm, and the way it works is really, really fascinating. Honestly, I still don't know exactly how it works, all the little mechanics. In a nutshell, it has a shulker down here at the bottom that gets hurt by some snow golems, and through duplication and magic, I suppose, they make their way all the way up here to where they get taken out by some wither roses. And it's an extremely fast farm. We have 2 entire double chests of shells, and I've even boxed up 3 shulker boxes. We literally have thousands of shulker boxes now. However, the only drawback is, besides you'd never need these many boxes, is so far it's kind of gotten stuck on me twice. It happens every few hours, but the first time a shulker got stuck where it wasn't supposed to be, so I had to put an extra button in there to prevent that from happening. And then the second time, the minecart that runs through the middle of this farm stopped running and just wasn't picking up the shulker like it was supposed to, so I had to manually step on a pressure plate. But you know what? I'm not complaining. With this many shulker shells, there is just no way I could complain. And before I started AFKing last night, I actually took a trip back to the shopping district to start a little pop-up shop. So let's go ahead and stop over there, see if we've made any diamonds already. And here's my little pop-up shop here. I tried to make it look like a shulker box, and I think I kind of did that, but it does look a little bit weird. But the moment of truth, oh my goodness, we have already made 9 diamonds. I honestly wasn't expecting that because everybody's been so excited about the end, and I'm pretty sure everybody got a decent bit of shulker boxes. So I thought it may be a few weeks before we actually made any profit, but hey, I will take 9 diamonds. And we got to be sure to restock here because we got to keep the diamonds flowing. And I'm not hurting for diamonds, so we might as well display it. Let's go ahead and set our first diamond block up on top of our pop-up shop. The only thing left to do is decide on a spot where we want the actual shulker shop, because obviously that's not going to be our permanent shop. I mean, I guess it could be, but that just seems a little cheap to me. I've had my eye on this spot over here because I'm going to have a ton of redstone. I want it to be a bit of a fun shop. And I figure if I'm going to have redstone, I can just hollow out this hill here. I'll have plenty of space for the redstone, and then I can make it look really, really nice. Although gliding around here, I'm really liking that flat space over there. That that really gives me an idea of a really interesting build we could do. So yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I'm just left with a big decision to make, so I will definitely make that before the next episode. I've got a lot to plan out. I've got a lot of redstone to design, and unfortunately, that's about all the time I have left for this episode. But guys, thanks so much for being here. It has been an absolute blast. Even though one farm didn't work out, we did technically build 2 different farms, so a very, very productive episode. I couldn't be happier with the way it turned out, and we have an absolutely mega shulker farm now. Guys, thanks so much for being here. If you made it this far, please do hit the like button. Subscribe if you like what you see and want to see more. And I'll see you guys next time for episode 9 of Paperhats Season 4. Thanks so much.